is up, my friend?
I love it. I love it. What's
What
happening?
is up, my friend? Not a lot, man. Not a lot. I haven't been getting much sleep this week. Last 2 nights, oh man, the insomnia has been killing me. So
Hmm.
I just was so exhausted. I took the day off today, and I slept till about like 11 o'clock. So I haven't even been up that long.
Hey, that's all right.
So,
That's
but I'm feeling
you,
much
you
better
got you got
now.
to do that sometimes. You got
Gotta
to do
listen to
that
your body,
sometimes.
man. Just listen to your
Oh yes,
body.
big time. So I'm just checking our channel here, and it looks like it went to the old link again for some reason. So I'm just gonna
Oh
fix
no,
that really quick.
let's get that
Um,
fixed.
yeah. So we're gonna apologies to everyone, but yeah, that'll be. Hey, we're still. I mean, this is 17. This is number 17. Where
Yeah,
stuff still happens.
I
But
think it's probably because I changed the title because it had our old
okay,
title for it, and I
okay.
didn't want that to be confused. So if
So
that helps you solve whatever the heck I did,
oh yes, I can figure that out. No worries. Did you you guys still getting poured on with rain?
yeah, man, it's just like it's so gloomy and it's just so wet and it sucks outside, man. It just but you know what? One of the benefits of having a coated car is when you pull it back in the garage, if you don't want it to like you don't want the rain to just sit on it, right? You just
Yeah.
take a blower to it and like two
Hmm.
minutes. 2 minutes. Car's dry.
Well, especially if you haven't
Squeegee out.
driven it. Like
Exactly. Exactly. The Mini was living in the garage for a couple weeks. I took it out to get some groceries the other day and brought it back home and just cleaned it
yeah,
off.
the we actually had a ton of rain just the other day, which was super weird because I know we're still only a few days away from spring, but it's yeah, it's we're not used to having rain in the wintertime. But hey,
Yeah.
it's been pretty mild. It was super super warm earlier in the week, and then it like dipped again, and it was like a hey, Mother Nature was like, hey, I'm still around. Don't forget about
Yes.
me.
Yes.
Um,
Is it uh the or I was going to say the time change has definitely been throwing me off. Not like I mean that could be like why my sleep is all thrown off, but
mhm.
I think the the whole it's lighter later
Yep,
throws me off because I think like okay like oh it's only like 5 o'clock or whatever, but really it's like 8 o'clock. I'm like I haven't even started dinner yet.
yep, exactly. Yeah, it's still it's weird because I was like just getting to the point where like I'm starting to have to wear sunglasses going to work, and
Yeah.
then like it was real close, and then all of a sudden that just went to hell.
Yep.
So we're
Yep. I
we're out for a
almost wore
little bit.
shorts and then the false spring disappeared.
Yes, the fall spring is no freaking joke, man.
It looks like we got people in the chat. I see Sal from Details. He's
Yep.
here. What's up, Sal? Do we have to like make any type of announcement like in the chat that
Yeah, let me just see. I'm just gonna confirm
we had the wrong
the
stream for anyone who's we had the wrong link. We
yes.
had every we had our streams crossed. I want to cross the
I
streams.
like that. I like that. Upstream without a paddle, if you will.
Man.
But yeah,
Enthusiasts, up y'all, what's going on?
let me do this. Let me get rid of this.
Oh, here they come. Here they come. Adamo's here. Mike G is here. What's up, everybody? HM Auto
Heck yeah.
Detail is here. I like a good howdy every now and then.
Oh,
You use
big
how?
time.
Do you ever say howdy to your coworkers?
No, even
I
though
do. I feel real
e-
white when I do it.
even even though we're 2 hours away from like the biggest stampede in North America,
Yeah.
um, it's kind of a business in the front, party in the back type situation.
Stampede.
Yes, the Calgary Stampede is quite large and quite renowned. Um, some people treat it as a week of inebriation. Other people take it
Is
as
it
actual like
similar to rodeo?
they do have a
Is that?
rodeo. Like it's
Oh,
actually a
okay.
stop on it's a stop on the circuit for like the bull riding, the chuck wagon,
Got it.
like the I don't even know the proper term, like the horses on like, going around the barrels and stuff like that.
Yep.
When
Yep.
they do
Yep.
that, like it's an actual legit stop, which is kind of cool. So
We were all on the wrong stream. Uh,
yes, but hey, that's
what
okay.
did
It's
TRC
Friday.
what did
We're
TRC
just
call him
chilling.
this week? Timothy. Timothy. It's
We're just
Timothy
chilling.
this week. Sheepstar's here. Everybody's here. Great
All
Dane.
right. Yeah. So I
Everybody's here.
stopped the other one. Hopefully people can make it over here. So apologies to everyone.
Sorry, I'm gonna stop messing with the stream. I'm gonna let you handle that, and I'll handle
Okay.
like the Instagram stuff. I just
That's
think
okay.
I
That's
think
okay. We all have our strengths here. But yeah,
yes.
appreciate everyone tuning in. And this is going to be a doozy. This is going to be
Oh,
a
I'm
doozy.
ready, man. I'm
I've
ready.
I know
We've
we've
got
been
a
trying for a little
return.
while to get them both. You know, the timing
They've been busy.
was working, but
They've been busy.
so Joseph, we're going to get serious for a moment here.
Okay.
I was looking at my calendar. Okay.
Oh,
So
me too.
in 7 days time, we're going to be at Friday, the 21st.
Yes.
The following Friday, there may not be a show.
No, we might be
Yeah.
packing.
So I'm going to be driving to an airport. Well, a hotel at an airport, leaving early on the 29th. Because we're going down to Boise. That's the
I'm going
correct
up.
way to say it. You're going up. I'm going down, then back up. But Boise is the correct way to say it. I've been told. And yeah, we're going to be partaking in a little TRCMA action. And I cannot wait. It's like a little kid at Christmas. You know, you're
Yeah.
checking off that advent calendar and you're eating the chocolate and you can't wait until you get to the big one in the middle.
I cannot wait to see you first time, give you a hug, maybe a kiss,
Mhm.
who knows.
Yep.
Get ready. Sorry, Haley. It's just weird that we've interacted for so long. Like I think
know.
about it, like, yeah, I've met other people that like I've chatted with online, but like my co-host, man, like
That's
my
right.
buddy, I haven't met you. So
That's right.
That's going to be exciting.
That's right, which is absolutely wild. But yeah, there's some big guests going to Boise, some that are public, some that aren't yet.
Yeah.
Which is really exciting. We're
I hope they just make the announcement so we can talk about it. Like I don't want to slip on anything because we do have a schedule because
Yes.
we're part of
We
that
are-
schedule and we need to know things.
And I think that it's great that we're both, fairly detail oriented, so we can kind of keep tabs on. Like I'm a huge list guy, so like I have lists for everything. Like
Dude, I'm ready to buy a new computer just for the trip
and headphones,
and headphones. Well, I'm still using my wife's because
yes.
But I go and I
shout
go
out to
put them
Cole.
back
Shout
like
out to
they've
Cole.
never been touched.
Yep.
But yeah, I am so ready for this trip. Especially as much as I'm ready for the show, I'm ready for the after hour shenanigans because I've heard so much
just the
about
best.
the after hour shenanigans.
It's gonna be nice just to, get down there, hang out with my friends, forget about everything that's going on everywhere because there's a lot of crap going on.
Yep.
And just have fun.
I can't wait until
the
you're
best part.
too drunk to walk and I carry you down the long halls of the home suites.
Yes.
And place you gently in your bed.
Yeah, nobody's going to be jumping Lime scooters downtown. I'll tell you that much. Our hips cannot handle that.
Oh man.
But yeah, I think we got a banger of a group backstage.
We do.
And I think it's due time to bring them in. So again, everyone, thank you for tuning in. We have episode 17. We did adjust the stream a little bit. Thank you for your patience. Hopefully you see it, but it's always going to be available afterwards and then also on Spotify as well, which we're kind of working on getting them on additional platforms too. Cause like, I'm
Life
kind of
is so busy. I'm sorry.
Yes. And I'm a stickler for like, Apple Podcasts is probably one of the more popular. I'm sure Spotify is right up there, but like I always hear people talking about like the most random names of sites, and then you go there, it's like, oh, this is a hosting service for podcasts. I'm like, why do you use something that's so unknown? But
yeah,
some people like the underground guys. I don't know.
Nothing wrong with supporting the little guy.
Yeah,
nothing wrong with it. But I think we need to bring our guests in because like you said, we've been trying to lock them down. I'm sure they're like, why are these guys talking for 11 minutes already?
Why can't they get their stream right? These are a bunch of amateurs.
Bunch of amateurs are never going to come back again. But one of them is a returning guest, and the other is new to our show. And I'm excited to bring them on. So what do you say we bring them on? I will. I'll click the buttons. I'll click the buttons.
Okay.
You just sit there and relax. Hello, Sydney.
Hey.
Hello, Kyle Clark.
Howdy.
Everyone's here.
Hi, guys.
Let's put these guys up top so that the captions will cover us and not them.
The amateur hour has to go second row.
Yeah.
Oh
Sorry.
my gosh. I know we're going to talk about this later, but this is so crazy because Kyle and I have not been on a podcast together since the last Speed Maker and Coffee. I just realized that. Like, that's so fun.
Yeah, 2 years.
I didn't know we were having a little reunion here.
Yes. I mean, not that we haven't seen each other, but we haven't like been on a podcast together. So this is so fun.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. Like when I saw it pop up, I was like, oh, like, yeah. So cool.
Joey, I think we may have to change the description of our podcast. After 2 long years, the internet's favorites are back.
Yeah. Yes. We'll go back and edit that later.
Yes. Thank goodness for that.
Wow, that's exciting. I didn't know we were having a reunion episode. This is great. This is so great. Well, how have you guys been? How's your weeks going? How's life?
Well, Kyle, you can start.
Life's good. Family's great. The weather in Southern California has been rough. For Californians, it is a late spring, as you said. And we've had a lot of rain. It's raining right now. It's definitely causing some mischief with detailing and detailing businesses. Even those that have shops are seeing it. So yeah,
because we're very meticulous here in California, Kyle, right? Like we don't want our cars to get dirty if it's going to rain in the next 14 days.
Yeah, right. Even though you're like, you got to clean your car sometime, right?
Yeah.
And here, I was telling you earlier that I have friends like Sydney and my friend Alex that people drop their cars off of at their shops in blizzards.
Yeah.
Yep.
And in other places in the country because it's part of maintenance, but. Yeah, spoiled Californians.
We got to get some billboards up and down like the 5 or something to let them know that like there's more than just the summertime to get your cars washed.
Yeah, so it's always a little slow the first month or two of the year, but we're having some late storms again. I think last year there was some late storms. Whatever we call this weather pattern, it's.
I call it soft and squishy because that's what everything is outside when you step on it.
Yeah,
that's true. That's true.
That's usually it's a welcome like break from being busy, but after like 3 weeks of rain or rescheduling and moving things, and today we did a car inside of a customer's garage. I had to turn it sideways, and we had a space heater on. Because it was snowing outside, which we usually don't get.
Yeah.
Yeah. The life of a mobile detailer. What can I say?
I'll say yes. Jeez. Yeah.
Your turn, Sydney.
Yes. Yes.
So
how was your week, Sid?
It was like can we swear on this? No, I was
absolutely.
We're not monetized yet.
We're not monetized. Good. It was the
Have you watched this show?
Yeah, crappiest week of my life. But I'm really excited to be here with you guys. So this gave me something to look forward to all week. But I'm going to keep this really short. But I had to cancel my car show this week, which everybody knows I have this huge car show that happens every year. It's happened for 10 years. Kyle always comes. It's great. It's like the best event all year. And I had to cancel it. And all I'm going to say about that is like HOAs are crazier than the detail industry.
Yeah, like that broke. Like when you told me about that really gutted me because
I cried. It takes a lot to make me cry.
Yeah,
it was.
They can be reasonable, or they can be just like like wildly out there. One time we had an HOA, and we had just gotten our dog, and we lived there. He probably was like maybe 1.5, so he's pretty fully grown, and I guess people reported him to the HOA as being a pit bull, and he has
Oh,
no pit bull in him whatsoever. So we had to like bring him in front of the HOA board to like introduce him to each of them. We dressed him
Oh
up
my
in a bow
gosh.
tie and stuff to like
Yeah.
make him look
Aw.
all professional, and like we had to get like letters of recommendations from his trainers,
Oh
from
gosh.
his vet that like
Yeah.
he is not a pit bull, he's not vicious.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
it's wild. So like
Yeah.
come on.
It is wild. So they had like I don't live in that neighborhood, so there's like Hidden Springs and then my neighborhood,
Yeah.
which is called Cartwright. You can't really tell the difference between the two, but I don't live there.
Yeah.
And so I don't feel bad saying this, but they are literally off there. Like they had like a self implosion.
Man.
They did it to themselves.
Yeah. So it had nothing to do with me, but it basically cost me the car show, and it was like losing a child. So I was very devastated. And then right before the show, I killed a Ram 3500 in my driveway. Like
Literally.
killed it.
The battery, not the truck itself.
The battery. Yeah.
Yeah.
I killed the detail though.
Yes.
I killed the detail. I got concrete off the side and then killed the
Hell
battery.
yeah.
So
That is
Yeah,
such
but
a
you-
common
It is.
question.
People have been asking it
is.
a lot lately. What'd you
I
use to get the
know.
concrete
Yes.
off?
I know. Everyone's been asking. And then this guy shows up this morning. He's like, yeah, what about all this concrete down the side? And I was like, what is with you people driving through concrete?
It's like when the
Yeah.
ads in your Instagram
Yeah.
show up because you said something.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now it's just manifesting in the detail.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's real life.
So yeah, so it's been a rough week, but I'm happy to be here with you guys. Could not be more
I-
excited.
We are happy to have you here.
Absolutely. The
Lots of HOA hate in the
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Really
loving
great.
it, guys.
and like
well,
you know,
and
there's
They
I
can
can't
eat-
say anything
they can eat
here, but I'm like,
that's for
this space
sure.
is probably safe because no one knows my HOA here, so I can talk. smack.
HOAs can eat chocolate ice cream. Okay, sure.
Yeah, they can just go right,
Froyo.
eat it.
Yeah.
Just go eat it. Yeah.
I don't know of.
Well, we
yeah,
have people
'cause-
on both sides. They, like I said, like sometimes they're reasonable and sometimes they are just out of
Yeah.
their minds.
I'm
So,
gonna have to ban
Yeah.
Neil White here in a minute, depending on the day. Yeah. I've heard a lot of
There
the
you
whole
go.
like HOA stuff where, I mean, where I am, there's not a lot of it. I don't know if there's some similar stuff in like in larger cities and whatnot, but I hear a lot of stories, maybe from as being an OG fanboy.
yeah.
I hear a lot of the stuff with that because it's even goes as far as like if you have like your garbage or recycling bin not in your garage, you're not compliant.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
that would be insane. And they're like, even if you build a wall around it, that's not fair.
Yeah.
And like,
Nope. You have to have permission
I
to
don't
build
want
the
my garage
wall.
to stank.
Yeah. Yeah.
and like I feel like the and again, I'm sure there's some good HOA boards out there, but I'm sure most of them are just like bitter people who like can never get what they want, and like this is the way.
Listen,
is
it
the
just
way.
takes a hand. If you're part of an HOA, it just takes a handful of you to like set an example and change it. Change.
Yeah.
There's nobody
yeah.
to change things.
Lots of busybodies. Lots of busybodies.
DS wants to know, who do we contact to express their disappointment about
Right.
the cancellation?
Because
I'm
there's
gonna save you a whole lot of pain there and just say you can just tell me.
I
Otherwise,
was
you're gonna get.
because the internet is a beautiful and horrific place all at the same time. But there are certain websites that will send goods on your behalf, anonymously, to express your feelings sometimes of various varieties. So yeah,
Are
we'll
these
read between the
bags like
lines on those.
steaming and smelling?
Yeah.
Potentially.
Could be snacks. Could be
The chocolate ice cream.
Certain
in the
shaped
mail?
snacks.
Yep. Yep. So
Oh, too
Oh
funny.
man. So, but we had a
snacks.
couple like of not hard hitting, but we had some like serious topics that we
did.
wanted to talk about, or you guys
Let's
wanted to
do
talk
it.
about.
Yeah.
with us.
Let's do it. I'm ready.
So why don't we start with oh, that's a good one. What do I want to start with?
This is a
start
rabbit
with-
hole.
Let's start with this one. Let's start
Yeah.
with becoming an influencer versus working for a brand. Like, what are the pros and cons? What does it take
Yeah.
to succeed? What do you guys like? What are your thoughts on this topic?
So I'm going to give some premise of why we wanted to talk about this, and then we'll have Kyle share
Yes.
his feelings. But
Perfect.
we both have worked for multiple brands. We currently work for multiple brands. And we both also do a lot of the social media. And so we work with a lot of influencers out there. We obviously have coworkers. And so there's been a trend, especially in the last year, of brand new detailer, has been in business for 3 months, wants to be like the face of the brand.
Yeah.
And
The top
so
dog.
we just wanted to go through like how brands perceive that, how we find influencers. I hate the word influencer, so we also need to think of a different word. But anyway, so Kyle and I both deal with this a lot. We've also walked that path, right? And it was not overnight. It was not the first year we were in business. And so I think that's what we wanted to dive into that. And then also you two are both, affiliates with brands and stuff. So wanted to bring you guys in from that side. But really, like, what happens is we get emails every single day, like 30, saying like, sponsor me, send me free stuff. And so we just kind of wanted to dive into that and like share with people, not necessarily our path, but maybe a little bit of our path, but what is the right path and do you even want to do it?
Yes.
Yeah. I agree. Like I flip flop between like the term content creators and influencer, because like when I do get a message, when I get a message from like a friend of mine, like someone in my personal group, and they showed me that they bought something that like maybe I made a post about because I liked it. Yeah. I go, wow, I influenced that purchase. Yes. So like in that sense, I'm not opposed to the term, but I get it. Like it's using it as just a general blanket term is it can be icky.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of terms for it. Creator, influencer. I feel that you should start as a fan first.
Yes.
Yeah,
1,000%.
Like Sydney and I were both fans of certain things. Like I know that Sydney is very influential in having Express Interior in, lines at PNS and pushed that because she was a fan of it. And we were fans of products and making videos and being supportive and, just pushing our excitement.
And our authentic love for that particular product, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that's where it all starts, is like, you want to be a fan, you want to connect with people, you go to the trade shows, you show them how much you love it, and you don't ask. That's the biggest thing. You wait till like people see your worth, you prove your worth, and then you look for those opportunities and say, hey, if I was able to do this with this product, could we work together on that? Instead of doing the typical, like Sid said, hey, I just started a detailing business. Can you send me a bunch of your best products so I can tell you how good they are?
Yes.
Those messages on Instagram usually go delete.
100% of them, 100% delete.
Especially, and this goes to when Sydney says authentic, there are people that ask these questions that are not even following the brand on the social media.
It's nuts.
I check right away. If somebody sends a message, hey, will you send me, and I click on it and you are not following us and haven't been for a while, goodbye. And it's just rude to ask.
Yes.
So I respond in the, have a good, keep trying, I don't have time to respond to everybody and tell them the way. So this is why we're doing this. Like, we want to show the way.
Yes.
But yeah, you got to be a fan first and then walk that path and become an authentic creator, influencer, leading to working for a brand.
Yes.
I'm getting messages from friends.
In my sense, in my case, like I'm really bad at asking for anything. Like you can ask Sydney, right? Like I'll like ask a question. I'll be like, oh, like, what do you guys think about this? And like, she's like, well, why don't you just like ask me first? Like, I'm really bad at it. And I've been blessed that, like, in the sense of, yes, we've had the podcast and I've had the ambassadorship with TRC, all of that I'm so thankful for. But I would say for like 99% of the stuff, I haven't asked. Like, somebody has asked if I would like to try it. And I feel blessed in that sense because like, I don't feel like Kyle said, like, hey, I'm new, I don't know anything about you. Let me tell you what the best stuff is about your best stuff. Like,
yeah.
I'm very thankful in that sense.
And that's
well, it's because you showed your worth.
Yeah, and that's the best way to do it. You show your worth, and brands are going to want to work with you. But the biggest challenge is the people with like 34 followers. They just started, and they're basically just asking for free product, and like no one's going to do that. No one's going to do that. And so
not anymore.
Right.
Maybe 5-6 years ago.
Yeah.
When brands everywhere were just looking for the influencer or creator, they've all been found and they've all moved on, and they've all have evolved in TikTok and to other opportunities and some really big opportunities. Some of the biggest influencers have started their own brands. And some have been successful with it and some haven't. So yeah, those days are over. So bring something new to the brand. And ask without asking. If that makes sense.
And like the ones that always catch my eye is, story posts are great. Like you can, share story posts. And when I see, and obviously on the back end, we get to see how much connection we've had with that person. We can tell the history, and if they've tagged us, if they've sent us messages, if they've replied to stories saying, oh, I love that, or whatever, then they kind of stand out. And then if somebody in that position, like where, we've kind of built a rapport with them, and if they say, oh my gosh, I've heard about Reflect, I can't wait to try it, then it's very likely that I might say, would you like me to send you a bottle? Or something
it's
like
authentic.
that. But be an authentic fan. But if I look back and it's like the first message and it goes to the other box because they don't even follow our account, I promise you I don't even read it. I just delete it. I honestly do. It is quite offensive. Yeah. So, but you have to be an authentic fan. And the thing is too, is don't try to represent a brand that you've never used and you don't even know if you like it. Like, because that's crazy, right? You have to really love that brand. You can't go grab the worst thing on the market and just because they'll send you stuff for free, say that it's great. We've seen that happen before in the past, and I promise you that doesn't end well. And, not every brand's going to be for every person. And so you have to find the one that their style connects with you and the people that work for that company connect with you. But like 80% of this whole industry is authenticity. It really is. Like, it's such an important word, and to be authentic and be an authentic fan, and then as far as like the creator thing, then there's always the people that are like, how do I get a job? How do I, how do I do this? How do I do that? And I can tell you, those are never positions that are open for application. Ever. They're just not. I mean, that comes from working with the brand, them getting to know you, them getting to see you in action, you stopping by their booth it comes from like them envisioning you as part of their team.
The entire thing is like your portfolling that you're presenting to that brand. Like everything that you do.
Right.
Like if you're just bad mouthing other brands all day online, but like you really, 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 really like stand for PNS. I think the bad's going to outweigh the good there, right? Like PNS isn't really going to want that. So, just
thinking back to how my journey with my friendship, or some of you called her my wife, but I say it's my wife.
I love it.
Sydney is not my wife.
They are not married.
She lives in Idaho. I live in California. I'm married. She's married. We both have amazing spouses. I really like Sydney's husband, Mike. He is, like she says, a Sasquatch, big guy, but quiet. But just clearing that up.
Eye to eye with him at SEMA.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. You may even be a little taller.
He's taller for sure.
Yeah. But it also kind of started with us being fans of products and her starting to work with PNS. And I actually had an opportunity to work for another brand, and tested the products, great people that were there. But I wasn't feeling it. And I ended up talking with the ownership of PNS and was offered a position to be a sales rep, which I actually was already doing. And this is where I'm going with it, before I even worked for PNS.
I feel like I'm the only one with a brand showing. I need to cover it.
You're fine. That's a good brand, though. So my friends are there. So, you know, I was already getting the Double Black line into distributors in Southern California just because I was a fan of it. And I liked the products. It was good stuff.
Yep.
And because I was already actively bringing value to PNS, the opportunity to work for them happened. But then the fun started when Sydney and I said we should start doing some giveaways, because she was a brand and product specialist.
I do like ambassador. Ambassador is a good, you know.
She was showing off the products and being more of a face of it, and I was more on the sales side.
Yeah.
And we started this thing where we were giving away products for engagement. And it would always start off with, hey, Kyle, hey, Sydney. We make a video, and we would come up with a contest just because we wanted to have fun, and we wanted other people to have fun, and we wanted to get people engaged.
Yeah.
I think that most social media companies in the detailing industry, most of them, I do not see fun anymore, or authentic fun like that.
Yes.
It's gone away. And I mean, Sydney's carried that on and continued that with PNS, but even she's busy now, and that probably doesn't happen as much. But when you are actively sorry, my kids are coming in. They may be loud.
That's all right.
Mine just did.
When you're actually trying to bring value and have fun and get people engaged, that's when the magic happens. And that's when a company that had an Instagram with 13,000 followers now has 54,000 followers on Instagram. So really it has to be authentic. You have to want to give to people too and help people. And that's why we're doing this here. We're not trying to hate on anybody. We're trying to just say, hey, there's a better way, and you guys can still do it, but it's not 2020 anymore.
I really love everything that's been said, and it's one of those things that I was always raised that everything you do is earned, nothing is free. And I remember that my big kind of foot in the door was stumbling across some Adams videos on YouTube and chemical guys and stuff like that, and bought some stuff. And then I found the right company when they just started the podcast. They were only a couple episodes in. I'm like, wow, these guys seem cool. And then I was able to get their stuff, bought a few things, and then we're doing a trip to the States. And I'll never forget this, but as Canadians that live very close to the border, they do a lot of, they ship it to a US address, go pick it up, and then we come back. And I made an order there, and that was when they still really did you could ask them to do a drawing on your invoice, right?
Yeah.
And all I put in there was, I'm a big Volkswagen fan, would appreciate anything you can do. And they drew an amazing Volkswagen Beetle that, the Beetle's not necessarily my favorite model, but I'm like, hey, they actually care to listen. And that was an immediate hook of, I'm going to support this company, even if I am in a different country. It's a little bit tricky. Yeah. And then bought the stuff, promoted it, and then as the podcast was still going, this was just before the Grand Ambassador program even started. And, and I was still really new to Instagram, and, I didn't really understand the whole story thing. I was still getting my feet wet. And then you make a story, and then you tag them just because it's good stuff. And it's kind of one of those, you have to kind of, spend money to make money, if you will. And, get the stuff, do a job, get back, and then, just kind of keep pushing and support those. And, you don't need to do it equally for so many, but, you can kind of pick one, and then that just kind of snowballed. But also just being respectful about everything and being honest about stuff. You know, if something
Yeah.
isn't great in your condition, be
Mhm.
honest about it. And then,
Yeah.
you know, then I've been fortunate enough with, you know, primarily Carzilla has been a fantastic supporter, as well as TOC Supplies up here. And, you know, they've helped me, you know, with providing certain brands and companies that I haven't necessarily tried before, but they either kind of want to get off the ground. And I'm really humbled that they think that I'm in a position to be able to do that. And, you know, it's that equal exchange in value that, you know, that I value more than money in that
And
situation.
it goes
Because
back to being authentic.
yes, and I
Yeah.
don't do this
Authentic.
for a career, because like it's not,
Mhm.
you know, it's not my primary source of income. It's still a hobby. It's still fun. And so I can kind of be authentic on that side.
Yep.
And, you know, being able to, you know, like get the stuff and like, hey, you know, like this stuff is good. I haven't used it really before, but I'll do my best with it. But I'm not going to primarily just switch. Right.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
just, you know, and I'm not, you know, and even in the videos, I try not to be, you know, like this is great because I have it. You know, this is good. Here's the pros. It may be for you, it may not. And just like just be genuine. And,
Yeah.
you know, I still can't believe that I'm in a position that I am, that, you know, like, you know, the generosity of KCX bringing me out to their training last May, and like being able to go to Boise. And I'm just like, how the heck do I get to do this? Like, this is crazy. But then you look back and it's a lot of hard work that, you know, you're not asking really for anything in return. And like Joey said, it's really hard to ask for stuff, you know, because
I hate
you know,
it. Like I will
but
sit there for like if I'm like really, really, really want to try something, like
yeah,
I will sit there for like 2 weeks trying to build up the courage, or like how do I not come across as a creep? Like I'm just I want to come across authentic.
And you know, and advice for people in the chat, whether you're watching now or in the future, is, you know, even if you have a small following, that's fine,
Oh
because
yeah.
you be authentic. You know,
Mhm.
there's enough discount codes from people out there that you can save money. And you know, you don't have to buy everything at once. You know, like you can buy just a couple towels or a small bottle of a liquid or a compound or whatever. Like, you don't even need the biggest fanciest machine. You can try just hand polishing, for goodness sake. Like, it doesn't matter. And
I don't share my discount codes
yeah,
for the $2.30 check that I'm gonna get at the end of the month. Like
yeah,
I share it because like I don't know about you guys, but like when I shop online, I don't check out like until I make sure that I've scoured something to go in that
Yep.
promo code. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Totally.
Like every dollar
Yes.
counts.
Yeah.
So like I'm sharing it from that perspective. I
Mhm.
like want people to save money. Like, yes, thank you for allowing me to go to Dutch Bros maybe one time this month. I
Yes.
appreciate that, but that's not what I do it for.
Yeah. And I know at the beginning of a lot of my videos is when I met with Rick, you know, when I realized that he's only 2 hours away and all this stuff, and we actually got to meet in person. And like I would always be like, hey, like this is cool, because he had a discount code, and I like would always push his stuff because I'm like, hey, he's a cool guy, he's a bro, you know, like we're both detailing enthusiasts in the frozen tundra for 3 months, 4 months out of the year. And but then I realized that he's like, yeah, you know, like I appreciate your help. Like, you know, I'm actually can make money from this. And I'm like, wait, you're making money from that? I'm like, okay, cool. Cause like I didn't even think that was really a thing. I just thought like the brand's like, hey, just to kind of help us get business, do this, you know, they can get a discount. And then I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. And I've never actually been in it for, you know, the discounts to make me money. Like Joey said, you know, get the coffee, you know, once a month or whatever. But
90% of the time I forget to share my code. Like I'll just post something and go, oh
and
shit,
just
I
like
should have
just be
posted
able
my code.
to, and kind of the way that I look at it is not so much the making money, but to kind of help the brands that, like, you know, the people that they've trusted and, you know, allow them to work with, that it's getting kicked back as well. You know, that it's like, hey, like their code's getting out there, and then like, you know, this product is being talked about, so that there's kind of that validation of, you know, that stuff is happening behind the scenes without us even doing anything. And, you know, it's just be authentic and be you. I mean, it's not hard. And like, you know, for people wanting to get into it that are really, you know, not so much struggling, but just worried or anxious or whatever, like, you know, certainly DM myself or Joey or whoever you want, and, you know, just try and get some advice. But again, just don't expect anything just to show up, you know, like certainly.
And is every product, Sydney, is every product your favorite? Do you love them all?
No, absolutely not. And that's kind of the fun part about my story, right? Is that I actually got my position with PNS because I complained about some of the products. That was actually kind of what got me in the door. But no, and so that's the thing too, is you have to be back to being authentic. Like, don't force yourself to make a video about something that you don't like. Don't force yourself to say that you like a brand that you don't. I still, to this day, absolutely will not say I like a product if I don't. I just won't. And, and sometimes, when people go, well, you get a paycheck from PNS. Yeah, I do. But you know what I figure in my heart is that not $1 in my check from PNS is to say that I like their products.
Yeah.
Not $1 goes to that.
Yeah.
How I feel and what I say about the products, every brand that I represent, I truly love those things I say I do. And if you don't hear me talk about something, it's because I don't like it. I won't speak poorly about it, but I will not say that I like it.
Same thing with me. People ask, if you're in my personal circle, what my day job is. And I don't push any of our products down anyone's throat. If you ask me a question about it, sometimes I'm like, I don't even know what that thing does. Right. Again, authenticity, just
right.
As long as you're authentic.
when I'm, how I go into these diatribes about how much I love something. It is in the same manner, from the same place in my heart, if I was telling you what I loved at a certain restaurant, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Alex, I'm pretty
you look
sure,
forward
right, Alex,
to using it or ordering it.
Yeah, like the steak and risotto, right, Alex?
Oh my Lord.
I have the same.
Yes. If you did,
for everything I love, right?
Shout out to Coins in Eagle, Idaho. If you do not order the steak and risotto, you're not living your life properly.
I haven't eaten yet today because my schedule's been thrown off since I slept in so late. So you guys are making me hungry.
That's one of those meals that I'm sure everyone has that I could eat it every day and not get sick of it things.
Yep.
That is certainly one of those things. Maybe eventually.
I want to go back to Keith's comment there, because I do actually appreciate that, where he's saying, that he's a robot and stuff. I think, but here's the thing, Keith, is that we all know that that's authentically you. And if you tried to pretend like that wasn't you, there's the problem. I watch his stuff and I think it's great because he is being his authentic self.
I don't think it's robotic. I think he has a systematic approach to everything. No problem with that. And I think that's what makes everything fair.
Right. So you actually are crazy authentic because you are showing yourself and you're not trying to be somebody else. And I think that's great. So I didn't want to skip his comment because I actually appreciate Keith for the way that he presents himself and stays his authentic self.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he shows the bloopers at the end, right? He literally has nothing to hide.
I love that.
And I mean, even if you want to try and, whether it's work for a brand or just represent them, I mean, you could even represent them, somewhat modestly in the background. You're not, having to have your face plastered everywhere. But, I remember out of high school working in the photography retail space. It was a specialty store where we're helping, professional photographers. And, there were certain ones that, were, either getting stuff paid by a business, and they were just kind of jerks. They would come in, they would spend 10 grand on equipment, but there was no emotional connection. But there was the real enthusiasts that would come in, engage a conversation, be like, hey, I did this. Hey, your recommendation was great. We love this. And not that we picked favorites, but we established those relationships with them very organically. And, we would help them out. We'd be like, hey, if you want to try out this new lens or whatever, we're not going to charge you the rental fee. You can just give it a go. I trust you that you're going to be fine doing this. And it just happens very organically. You can't force it. And, I'm so scatterbrained in my hobbies, I have very extensive taste when it comes to my hobbies, unfortunately. But whether it's, tech or travel or just detailing, whatever, and you watch stuff on YouTube, you can, or, even social media shorts and things like that, you can really kind of filter out the BS of, there's 98 people that say this product is not so great. And then there's 10 that are this is the greatest thing on the face of the world. Right. And so you kind of have to make your own judgments, and certainly, do your own homework. Don't take, one person's advice on something. Certainly look around and kind of make your own judgment.
I think that's very important.
There's no problems with that.
I think we're all guilty of it, but taking a step back and realizing that these are just people and you're idolizing this person for their opinion. You've never met this person. This person might not even give a damn about you. They might not know you exist, but you idolize this person and everything that they say is the gospel. right? Like just take a step back, like think about like just like Dewar said, like there might be 90% positive reviews, 10% negative reviews,
Right.
but like
Yeah.
what are those negative reviews? That might be that might affect you. Like
Right.
get both sides of it. Don't
Yep.
shut it down. Like I just think of it as constructive criticism, and I think too many brands see it as haters or trolls, but sometimes it's constructive criticism, like take a step back.
Well, and I think that's a good point. I had somebody send me a message once and said, I feel bad about the video I'm about to put out because I didn't say the nicest things about this new product. And he goes, do you want me to not put it out? And I was like, absolutely put it out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely put it out, because you know what that does? It builds value in what you tell people. When you can be honest, it's okay to not like something. Like that is okay. And I was
afraid to tell Sydney that I had a bad time with Stout. I was like, oh no.
Like, am I going to get blocked? Is my number deleted? Like what's happening?
But I also just like wanted to be able to like you said, share
She's
my
like,
experience.
Goodbye.
Now you're like the poster child to say like, don't do what Joey did, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I know I've learned from my mistakes.
Yep. 100%.
I think this next topic might, ruffle some feathers, but like new detailers, and aren't they hurting the industry? Like, what is the impact of low prices or poor quality having on the industry?
It's not good. Look, we always hear this. You have to start somewhere. And I know because I started as a 13-year-old kid detailing cars in my parents' driveway. But when I started, detailing really wasn't anything. It really wasn't a profession. It wasn't, I mean, I knew a couple of detailers around growing up.
There's crazy people that liked clean cars. That's
Yeah. I mean, and there's some amazing we call them OGs out there that are now probably in their 50s that were the pioneers of detailing. They were using the rotary, a polisher that some of you've never heard of. It spins around and it doesn't orbit. They were
just One Direction, baby. Speed. We know the band One Direction, but not the polisher.
Yeah, theirs had one speed because it was a grinder and they slapped a wool pad on it. The industry's evolved and it's gotten better. And I think now, because of social media and really because of TikTok, we are actually causing or have caused more issues because we've made detailing sexy. We've made being an entrepreneur look like fun and look like something we want to do. And I think there's a lot of great detailers that are coming up. And man, I've seen some impressive guys. There's a guy I saw on TikTok the other day that, I mean, his uniform was on point. His van was set up. I looked at his websites and his prices were very, very smart. And, it looks like this guy wants to make a living doing this, all in.
Yeah, he's passionate.
And then exactly. I mean, he's all in. I kind of used to tell people, if you don't bolt your pressure washer down in your truck or your van, you really don't have, you think that you may not be in this industry very long.
That's a pretty good way to look at it.
Because you think that maybe you'll do something else in a year or two. Like you're not committed, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm so happy I put it on the wall.
Yeah. Well, bolted to the wall. You're
I feel like I'm in it.
We have some great content creators that have jobs that are detailing also. There's nothing wrong with that. The only problem with that could be with anybody is if they're not charging market prices, not saying fair prices, market pricing, you are hurting everybody in the industry that is trying to make a living doing this. And it's always the people who say it's a side hustle, but I want to do it for a living, that are hurting the industry they want to make a living in. And there's a guy who is who works at a dealership that I detail for, that has his own detailing business,
Mm-hmm.
and his prices are nowhere near what he even makes per hour working at the dealership to do a
Holy
job.
crap. Okay.
Wow.
So why are you hurting yourself, the industry? Why are you not charging enough a market price, whatever you want to call it?
Yeah.
So it's not all bad, because there's some amazing people, and I'm learning from the newer guys. They know how to use social media.
Yes.
My friend Ryan's texting me right now because he's listening to the podcast, and we've discussed, man, these young guys, they know how to do Instagram and TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
But usually I'm the one that their customers are calling to fix the problems they've caused,
Yes.
Yeah.
because they haven't gone to training. They have all been teaching each other these hacks on YouTube. Not that that person are hacks, but the techniques,
Yeah. Shortcuts.
shortcuts.
Yeah.
And we got to fix it. Otherwise, we're going to get to the point where this industry is not going to do too well in the future.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts, Sid?
I just have cheap friends. Like when I try to charge my friends the market price, I just go, well, where's the friend discount? And I'm like,
You know, if you're my friend,
you wouldn't give me a
you would pay
discount.
you pay full price, right?
You would
Yeah.
support me, right?
You
Like
would
you would
support
support
me.
me.
And that
Yeah.
just means not being a good business owner asking that question, because
Mm-hmm.
like if they're your friend or they're your family,
Yeah.
you should charge them, because they want you to be able to provide for your family and
exactly.
grow your hobby, your creator, whatever you're moving into.
You might get something extra, but
Yeah.
I'm you know, like
Definitely.
you might get your windshield coated, even though you only paid me for
That's right.
a clay and seal, you know, like
Yeah. Yeah. My
Yeah.
So here's a way, because I dealt with this early on, right? Because in my neighborhood, there's a lot of neighbors and friends that, thought they should get the friends discount when I started my business.
Yeah.
So here's what I say is like, hey, look, I'm building this business, and this is like, this is my venture. This is how I'm going to, make a business for myself. So here's the deal is I am the nicest person you'll ever meet. I will do anything for you. I will help you paint your house. I will help you stain your fence, and I won't charge you. I will sew your button back on your blazer.
Yep.
But what I won't do is I won't discount my prices.
Yes.
This is my business, and I'm going to run it like a successful business owner. And so when you say that to somebody, what are they going to say back?
No.
Nothing.
Yep.
So I just point out to them that like I will do anything else for you, and I won't even charge you. But the one thing I won't do is I won't give away my services for free.
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Oh yeah, right, okay." So that's what I do. But anyway, back to the the businesses. I totally see where I've had and kind of combining this with the creators. They say, well, I need free product because I'm trying to get my name out there, and so I'm not really charging for my details. Dude, you got to worry about yourself first. So I'm going to take it down this road. It's like, worry about yourself first.
Yep.
You are in complete control of the company that you build, the business that you build. That is what you're going to be able to count on. You are not going to be able to count on these brands, these products, the paycheck, YouTube. A lot of people who were creators on YouTube used to make a lot of money. Now it's really hard to make money on YouTube. So you have to build this foundation of your business. That is what is yours. That is what you are in complete control of. And so that is going to be what is your foundation for everything, and so don't ever give that away. Don't ever sacrifice it. Everything else is temporary, but your business is that you are in complete control for that. And I say that all the time where, people say, why wouldn't you stop your shop? You're working for all these other companies. No way in HE double hockey sticks would I ever give up my shop, because I built that. That will always be priority number one, because that's mine and I'm in control. Everything
Why
else
work for
could
yourself
disappear
if
tomorrow.
you're going to allow others to dictate how to run your business or what to charge in your business? Like, there's no point, right? Then go, work for someone else. But if it's going to be your own, like, why wouldn't you want to dictate every little detail about it?
Yeah.
So-
and this industry is great. You can make a lot of money in this industry, but I think that's where Kyle's going, is like, don't sacrifice yourself. Don't sacrifice what you've put into it.
Yep.
Because you're hurting yourself, but then yes, it is affecting the industry because it affects those who have put all the time in before. And so I think that's the message Kyle's trying to get across is like, if you want to be in this industry is great, but man, you got to do the work and you got to be in market, right?
There's no problem with someone wanting to charge a price if they have accounted for their insurance, their products, their overhead and all of those, and then took into account their profit and then figured out how long it took them to do the detail. And if somebody can do an interior detail in 4 hours and charge $150 and they make a profit more than if they were at their other job, then that's great.
Yep.
But everybody's overhead is different. And so you can't tell me that charging $100 to do an interior detail, taking 4 hours, using $35 of product made you more than your other job, because you're making more in your other job. So why are you doing, is it for fun or what? I'm just saying, like, I guess understand your numbers and be a business and do the business things. Somebody said earlier, business is business. Yes, business is business, but there's bad business too. And detailers have made this industry so appealing through our social media and other people want to do it. There's a lot doing it. And there's not a lot of business happening, if that makes sense. There's a lot of hobbying happening. And a lot of people aren't, I'm not saying you're going to get rich doing this, but at making $25 an hour doing detailing, if you are the owner of the business and taking on all of the expenses and all of the risk, you should just go do something else. And I guess that's the point. It's not to be rude or say you're cheap, you're hurting the industry. It's to figure out your numbers and run a business, or treat it like a hobby and own that you're a hobby. And here, where this came from was, I had a guy contact me last week, and I do airplanes, and airplanes cost a lot of money to detail, and insurance and all that fun things. And I do all sorts of stuff, but this question was about airplanes. He wanted to learn how to detail airplanes so he can make a lot of money. And he wanted to come work for me, but he has his own business, but he doesn't have insurance. He doesn't have a business license. He does it all cash. And I said, well, you'll never step foot on an airport without all of these things. So
that's a different
you
world.
need a bank account, you need life, or you need insurance, you need a business license, you need aviation insurance, you need general liability, all these things. That's why we make a lot. But do we make a lot? I don't think we do. Not when all the costs have kind of added up.
No, I love all that.
Your side hustle can become a real business. But don't leave it in the side hustle category for too long. Mold it into that.
And I've had a couple situations where, I've had a product that, I've received, complimentary, if you will. And, my customers or friends, if you will, don't necessarily need to know that, but I've done things where, like, one of my good friends is a journeyman mechanic that, I'm like, hey, this service needs to be done on my vehicle that, shop time would be $500. I'll give you a $500 equivalent detail kind of thing that I've done for him. And like, I've traded some things for details, if you will. Like, I had a friend that worked in a glass shop and traded like 3 windshields for 3 different details that they had. So I'm like, hey, this is kind of cool. But I've also had where, like, I'm kind of like, I'm firm with the pricing that I offer, because like, there's a local detailer that I respect a lot, and I kind of like somewhat base pricing off of that, plus or minus a little bit. And I've had people that like, once they get it and they see what I've done, like, I've received tips that has been crazy. Like I didn't even expect that to happen. Or they're like, hey, like, I want to, just give you extra money, or like you go a little bit extra for like, certain friends or whatever. But, I've seen a lot of professional detailers not necessarily trust when you have a customer say, hey, I'm going to send you a lot of business, give me a deal or something like that. I feel like that's, talk is cheap. And I mean, the actions speak louder than words. Like, actually make that happen. And, I don't envy the professionals that, that almost get suckered into that, because I'm sure there's plenty that, expect 5, 6, 10 details to come down the line that never happen off of one guy that is just fighting tooth and nail. And I think those are the rough people to deal with. But, as you guys as professionals, like, have you kind of embraced, or have you encountered that I'll send you X amount of business, from a total new guy off the street coming to your shop?
Yeah, Scott, you're right, Scott. Knowing your numbers, will help.
And Ron had a good point. I wanted to talk about Ron's comment too about, because I know I see all the people in the comments, and I know there is a lot of people that, yes, I work out of my home garage and I've been told that I should charge less. I got that for the first couple of years too, but here's my feeling on this. Because guys, I did everything wrong. Like, don't think I did everything right from the beginning. I did everything wrong.
We're telling you this because we screwed up too.
Like,
and I'll tell you all about it.
Wrong. So I would do the same thing. And I'm sure Kyle heard me say this when I first started. Well, because I remember him talking to me about, you need to raise your prices. And I'd say, yeah, but I don't have the overhead that such and such does. And I don't have employee costs. And I don't have this. And I don't have that. But you know what? It was a mind shift where I had to realize that working out of my home garage, I was actually offering somebody a benefit that a shop couldn't offer them. They were getting only me, only my knowledge, only my OCD, right?
No line of cars waiting for your attention. It's just that car.
They didn't have to worry about it getting hit in the parking lot. They didn't have to worry about somebody bumping into something else. They didn't have to worry about somebody, and so I present myself in my home shop now as like a spa, like it's a spa day for their car. And I'm the only one that touches it, so it's building on the pros of the way you run your business. For Kyle, he's mobile. So he's going to present himself on the benefits of having a mobile detailer come to you. So I had to do a major mind shift that I feel like, since I work out of my home, I actually charge more because I think it's a greater service now, because they're getting 100% of my expertise, not, maybe like an employee or somebody with 10 people in the shop. I mean, I had a Porsche that came a couple weeks ago where both sides of this car that was different paint correction. It's because they had 2 guys on it.
No.
Either one would have maybe been fine by itself, but when you split it down the middle, and so I said to the guy, I go, well, that's one of the benefits of coming to me, is you're going to get the same correction all the way around, whatever level it is, And so I think that's just a mind shift. Like, you can't let people tell you that you should be less. And then also on the sponsorship thing, this also goes to this. I've had people go, why do you charge that for a coating when you don't pay for your coatings? Dude, because my customer did not do the work to get that coating for free. I did. That is me giving
you earned it.
Yeah. And so, no, I am not discounting my prices because I might get products free. So that's the other thing, is for people, if you do get products for free, don't think you need to do it discounted because you feel bad that you didn't pay for the products. No, you worked for that, not your customer. You worked.
If you ask me stupid questions like that, you're getting a 10% upcharge.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
It's like the shops that say, like, like crying 10% whatever, like same thing.
If you watch me, it's an extra $100.
Yeah.
That's a great that's a great term for sure. Like, it's
absolutely,
I mean, it's kind of that boutique service. And and there's some other stuff, like, people who are like shoe aficionados, or like sunglasses aficionados, or handbags, or pick your poison, where and any service that's being provided for you, like, I don't typically go to a car dealership like, hey, your shop rate's 150, do you think you can do 110 for me, because I'll send you a bunch of cars? Like, play certain scenarios in your head that you know, there's one dealership here that on the back of all of their work orders, they have a breakdown of like, you know, why is our shop rate X? You know, it's like it shows the overhead, it shows the insurance, shows the, you know, employees and like the benefits they provide to those employees and like that they treat their employees well, that gives them the opportunity to stay working there for one.
So
and just keep everything smooth.
Let me ask this. So why is our industry this way? And when I take my vehicle to the dealer and I have an oil changed and they inspect all these different things, and then they give a recommendation of, hey, you need to have this fixed, and this fixed. This is the price.
Yeah.
Why do we just pay that? But yet when you have a professional who knows how to fix your paint without damaging it, fix your windows without damaging, getting the water spots off, clean your wheels without drying them out, without making your brake calipers rust, clean your upholstery without drying out or breaking down the leather, or making your carpet crusty. When we give a recommendation, they want to haggle.
Yep.
Yeah.
Why is it that way in this industry? And it's just because we've allowed it. But you know, I utilize a CRM and in running a business like a business, right? Where now I do something cool when I find other things. I send them a change order, just like a
contractor would.
A contractor or like a mechanic would. Hey, look, we found this problem. We need to replace this belt or whatever.
Yeah.
So what I'll do is I'll say, hey, found this, and I send them a proposal. And most of the time they're like, oh yeah, I do it.
Yeah.
And I'm blown away. Like, oh, I feel like a business owner. I don't feel like I am a person standing at a swap meet, you know, making deals all day. I feel like the professional that I am, because I've been doing this 27 years.
Yes.
I know there are people out there cheaper. And I know that there are people out there that can do good work. But I know that in my area, I'm not saying worldwide, because there's some great, amazing detailers that I look up to. I'm the expert in my area. Like, I know my shit. And we want to make sure that like we're providing a good service, but I am tired of losing my butt because somebody else is willing to do a service cheaper. When we are seeing issues with cars that other people have done, you know, coatings failing, buffing marks. We all see these things because they went cheap. They're not my customer, but if that person wants me to fix it, they're going to pay my prices, not the guy who screwed their.
It's like when I discovered, you know, going to Supercuts, or, you know, nothing against these, but like you go to Supercuts, you get a haircut.
Yeah, they did this to me.
Kyle, you might not know. Kyle, you might need to sit this one out, but like the when you go from that and you know, so many people go, oh my God, I had a bad experience. Oh, I got a bad haircut. You have to go to a salon or a stylist to fix it. And it's typically more expensive, right? It's a specialized service. Same thing.
Yeah. I love the quote that says, you're not paying me for the hour that it took me to do the service. You're paying me for the years that it took me to be an expert.
Exactly.
I love
Don't you have a sign on your wall that says that?
Maybe somewhere. I don't know. I just say it to myself all the time.
I've seen it somewhere.
I think that was the succeed in silence and my noise or something. It was something like that.
So I really, Steve, you're awesome, man. I love what Steve's saying in a couple different spots. Earlier, you talked about utilizing a CRM and being transparent. I love it because for years, like being mobile, I don't have a billboard in my van that says this is your prices. I just send the prices and let them choose. And being clear that way. And then what was can I go back in the chat? Oh yeah, I can.
I love that, Bruce.
All the haggling. Why are we haggling?
It's
because we may be running our businesses as business owners and you guys, but the rest, they're not confident in their skills or they're not confident in their pricing. That's why they're haggling. When you're confident that you're going to provide a fair service, for a fair price and that you're going to give great results,
Yeah.
there should be no haggling.
Mhm.
You know, I wish
Well,
I
and
had
I
hair
think,
gone. Oh man.
you know, again, I did everything wrong at the beginning, right? And I
Yeah.
remember having somebody bring a motorcycle trailer to me, and he wanted to, you know, he was like, "Well, I can find somebody else to do it for that." And I was like, "Then hallelujah, go have
Then
that guy
do
do it for
it.
$125." Yeah, I was like, "No." And I said, because I won't lower my prices. You know,
Yeah.
I won't lower my work. I can't lower the level of work that I do. So this is my price. And here's the thing I found, and this was probably 8 years ago. He still booked with me.
Yep.
Right. And he's now
Exactly.
today, he's one of the best customers I have. He's like, charge me whatever you want. I don't care. You know,
Heck yeah.
and so you have to train your customers. And here's the deal. If they really wanted a full detail for $125 and they say somebody else can go do it and they're going to walk over that, let
Mhm.
them.
Yeah.
Let
I don't need that
Here's
$125.
here's the
let
other
them.
funny thing. Let them.
Right.
Yeah. That's what the
Let them.
tattoo in the book
Let
says.
them walk. Like, you have to train the kind of customers that you want. And
Yeah.
it took me a couple people where I was like, I'm going to stick to my guns here.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No one walked away.
Yeah.
No one walked away.
Yeah.
So like, that's the thing to know, is that you don't have to feel like you have to do something for $70 because that's going to be
Well,
what
because they're
gets you a
also
job.
like, oh shit, this person stood their ground. Like
Right.
they're the real deal,
Yeah.
right?
They have respect for it. Have you ever had somebody that had a service done by another detailer and their vehicle was damaged and they bring it to you and they tell you the price
Mhm.
and what they paid for this damage,
Yeah.
and obviously we can fix it, and I say, you know what, really, I once had someone that burnt paint, and I said, you know,
Mhm.
you're going to need to take this to the body shop. This is going to be a
Mhm.
couple $1,000s to repaint this
Yeah.
fender,
Amen.
blend it into the door.
Yeah.
It happens.
Mhm.
Yep.
Why don't you contact your detailer and ask for their business insurance information and file a claim?
Yeah.
They don't have insurance.
Yep.
Right.
So you are willing, and they were just going to let it go. They're like, okay, well, I'll just live with it. And I'm like, hold on.
Mhm.
You paid them $200 to do this
To
correction,
screw
and I
this
would have
up.
been 500.
Mhm.
They damaged it. And if I would have damaged it, I would have done the right thing here and
Mhm.
used my insurance,
Mhm.
or I would have paid depending on the price,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
deductible.
Yep.
Mhm.
But you're willing just to let it go because they were cheap.
Mhm.
Mhm.
What
Yeah.
the heck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Like, that doesn't make sense to me. You know,
Mhm.
people will get mad at McDonald's if they don't put enough fries in their
Mhm.
cup,
Mhm.
but if
Yeah.
they go somewhere else and pay more, they would give it a bad review. I don't know, man. It
Yeah.
doesn't make sense why some people will give a pass to people who are living or doing business subpar, but the
Yeah.
people that are doing it correct,
Mhm.
they're going to pay the price for it. They're going to stick it to them. You
Mhm.
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
I think a huge takeaway from this is just, communication is number one. And,
Yes.
it's even if you're not a great communicator right now, it can always be improved. Everything can always be improved.
Mhm.
And, and if you screw up, just be honest with them too. Right. Like,
Mhm.
work something out. And
Yeah.
I had like an interior, it was like a plastic clip over one of like the bolts for the seat that like one
Mhm.
of the clips underneath broke off. So like it's still clipped in
Mhm.
two of the spots, but not the third. And I told them like, hey, like,
Yeah, they
this
do.
broke. I can probably
Mhm.
get this part at, the dealer for, 10, 50, whatever dollars. And I'm like,
Mhm.
I'll get this. Like, it's a Sunday now. I'll call them tomorrow. And they're like, honestly, I don't even care.
Mhm.
It doesn't bother
Yeah.
me. Right. But just, I'd rather tell them up front than them have to find it out after the fact
The
and be like,
attitude might be a
Yeah.
lot
it's
different if they
like,
found it out later.
Right.
it's like, yo,
Yeah.
like, what the F are you doing? Like, this is
Mhm.
crazy. And,
Yeah.
if
You
you
know,
are a business, like definitely insurance is number one for sure. For that
have you
exact
guys ever
reason.
damaged a vehicle? Your own vehicle?
Oh,
I've
my own,
damaged a vehicle.
absolutely. Oh
Yeah.
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 I mean, it happens, man.
Yeah.
Like,
It happens. And you know what? What do they say? I can't remember. Something, if you're not burning, you're not learning. Anyway,
Ooh, I
it
like that.
happens. It happens.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's the way you learn, is to like
Yep.
I mean, honestly, I've probably damaged 2 vehicles in 13 years. One was so minor, and the other one I burnt through paint. But you know what? I fixed it. I took accountability for it, and I learned a lot about microfiber pads.
Yes.
I was
Yes.
at it.
And those microfiber pads, I did some damage on the car once too.
Yeah,
Dude, there's spots on the Mini Cooper that and the Mini Cooper's been like, my one of my test beds for the 13 years that we've had it. And there's little spots like in the last time I was coating it, I was like, that looks like that was burnt through. And I was like, but none of my tools or anything would cause that. Now I was like, definitely the microfiber pad from 2014 that I took to it. You know what I mean? Like,
I know that I think there's certainly an uptick in, the rotary, I think, is regaining ground and traction for.
That scares me.
And when I went to the KCX course, they had a rotary there, and I tried to keep telling myself to be open. Yes, there's a fair bit I know as an enthusiast, but I'm like, I'm gonna try and go in here as a clean slate and just obviously listen to everything, because listening is also very important. Surprise, but just listen to that, and then they got to like the hands-on polishing bits, because they were taking a lot of our advice, like, hey, like help us with tips and tricks to be like things we can improve on, because like they have their group, but they want an outsider perspective. Bruce can attest to this. He was there with me, but I had used a rotary like once before, and I like, oh yeah, like this was probably 15 years ago. I'm like, yeah, I know what I'm doing. Like after the fact, you look at holograms, you're like, oh, that's just how it's supposed to be. And then like once you get educated, you're like, oh, I was wrong back then. Holy frick. And so I was at the KCX thing, and they had these like test panels that were like freshly painted to basically wreck, essentially. And I asked them, and I'm like, hey, like I want the rotary, I want like your most rocks in a bottle, I want to try it, like, and I feel fine wrecking this 2 foot by 2 foot section of freshly painted clear. And I asked them for like tips, because we sanded it and like got stuff out, but I'm like, okay, I want to hit the limit, and I want to see where that is, and it's so finite to get to that limit to go through, and I'm just like, oh crap. And I'm like, this is crazy. So it's like, certainly stay within your limits, like go to a body shop or a wrecker or something like that and get parts, because some body shops, I'm sure, will give away parts for free if they just get them out of their property. And mess around with that, like get an idea.
Another place to build a relationship, right? With
exactly,
and work with them and be like, I'll clear this panel out if like that's your passion, testing coatings or whatever. Like, there you go. There's another relationship built.
Yep. You got to do it. Just figure it out.
Neil asked about paint gauges, and a paint gauge is something that has made me a lot of money and saved me a lot of money over the years, and I have one. I don't use it as much as I used to.
Yeah, I use it as a sales tool. Yeah, I don't use it to judge the paint that much. I use it as a sales tool. So generally speaking, I use it for why I don't do paint correction without doing a coating. Because I explain to my customers, I just don't. Not judging anybody that does. I just personally won't do paint correction without doing a coating. And so I will show them, why. Like I explain why. And so then I'll use the paint depth gauge to say, we only have one time to correct this car to the level that you want. If we don't do a coating, it's just not worth sacrificing that clear coat. So do I use it to gauge my correction? No, not necessarily. I mean, it is helpful to know when there's like 1.7.
That's a good tool. I've never thought about it like that.
Yeah, but I really only use it to show the customer. I will run around if I already have it out and connect. I'll run around and just double check. The other thing I use it is for, because this is an important one, is if you think something has been damaged previously. I had a Tundra in last year that I remember the paint on the front fender looked weird. And they were like, can you get all that orange peel out? They were like, I want the paint to look the same. And so I showed them that this panel has been wrecked. And they're like, no, it's not. Oh, yes. The paint gauge backs you up and says, no, this is like, second layer of paint. And then I would explain to them, like, this was a problem when it was painted. Like, we're not going to get down to that level to correct this issue. And that backed my expertise up, right? So it showed them that, in fact, that had been wrecked and painted. And so I use it only as a sales tool. I do not use it for how ham I'm going to go on paint.
Yeah.
I kind of know that for the most part,
I don't use it for like full paint corrections. I use it for say that there's a scratch in an area and the scratch is in the clear.
Yeah.
I want to take measurements around it and I'll sand and buff until I'm okay with removing a certain amount. So say there's 5 mils on there. I'm going to tell the customer, hey, I'm going to sand this and I'm going to take 1 to 1.2 mils away. I feel comfortable removing that much clear.
Sure.
And then polishing it out.
You're gonna get.
It's as good as you're going to get. If I go any further than that, I risk sanding through your clear coat.
Yep.
And I don't want to go below. I never want to touch anything under 3 mils, especially in new cars. New cars, it's even scarier.
Yeah.
So the other place I use it is when I'm trying to sell a coating to someone who has an aluminum corrugated RV. Because when you measure the paint on a car, if it's 5 mils on your car, and you measure an aluminum corrugated sided RV, 0.2 mils.
Yikes! Yeah,
it is like take rubbing compound and do this for about 5 seconds. Gone.
I'd be.
It is so
the whole time.
Yeah. So those corrugated aluminum sided RVs, you can't really buff them out.
Yeah.
You can polish them. You can use a finishing pad and polish. But if you're not careful, you'll burn the edges because they're the ridges, you know.
Yeah.
So that's why it's a sales tool for that. And it's also trying to explain to them, like, don't let this thing sit on the side of your house, get all destroyed, and then think you're going to perform a miracle.
Well, and I think, sorry, I had to
there's not enough material to perform a miracle.
Yeah. And I had another situation with a Tundra last year, also a black one, where you have to listen to your customer too. If they're like, well, I had somebody, polish it last year, and like, to me, I was like, well, that's weird. It was only the tailgate. And so I went to measure his truck and, he was like, can you just polish the tailgate again for me? And I did my whole, I don't polish without doing a coating. And so the thing is too, is it helps keep you safe. So when I went around his truck and it was like 4.6 and I got to the tailgate 1.7 and I looked at him and said, dude, here's the deal. At this point, we can't get all these scratches out, but what we can do is lightly polish it, get it a little bit better. And then we're going to seal it up, right, with a good ceramic. Now, the problem is if I would have went in there and just polished it, I probably would have burnt through it. And two, it also told him ahead of time, this may not look that great.
Yeah.
Because we couldn't do it, right? And so it also helps you set customer expectations too on maybe why you can't get all these deep scratches out. There's just not enough clear coat. So I also use it to set customer expectations as well.
It's a great tool to explain away things that you don't want to do. Like when people have a faded roof or a faded hood and it's, they're like, oh, I just want you to polish it, make it shine. I'm like, oh, see that measurement? That means I can't touch it. Because it's something I don't want to do anyways. They won't be happy in 2 months when all of the polymers dry out again. And, and it looks, I'm like, hey, I got a good body shop. They can repaint that hood for you and that roof for you. But, so yeah, it's kind of a tool that you can use to like tell people whatever story you want.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whether you want to take on the work or you want to say, hey, look, we should do something else.
Right.
So.
Yep. Totally.
I want to be respectful of everyone's time. But I know this was a very important topic if you're ready to discuss it.
Yeah.
But there was a topic called what happened to Kyle and Sydney. And I know that's something you guys wanted to touch on. And the floor is yours if you will.
How are you going to explain this? Go ahead, Sid.
Well, so I think that it's quite the story. I think that, obviously some people know, maybe some don't, that are in the comments. For years, Kyle and I had Beat Maker and Coffee, and, he was my co-host, and it was great. And everybody kind of knew us together. And, that abruptly came to an end. And about 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago, But I think the cool part of the story is that Kyle and I have remained best friends through all of it, right?
Yeah.
That's the
And
most
I
important
think,
thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
100%.
I think that, I think the fun thing now that we laugh about is we work for opposing microfiber companies
Yeah.
Yes.
and we work for opposing pad companies as well.
Love
Yeah,
it.
that's awesome.
Love it.
But I think that is, I think that that's the great part of the story. I mean, there's not great parts of the story. There's, things that happen that are out of people's hands and out of their control. But I think,
Sure.
I think for me, the most important part of the story is that, Kyle and I have stuck together through thick and thin. And, again, it goes back to that like organic and authentic relationships, that couldn't be tested by no matter what was thrown at it. We know that when Kyle left PNS, it was horrible. But he's done great, right? We don't get to see him as much because he's not on podcast. He's not on podcast every other week, and stuff like that. So that's why I love that he was able to join us for this, is because I do think that the industry needs to see more of him.
Heck yeah.
I miss him on the show.
I'm having fun. It's definitely worked out for me for the better. The opportunity when I was working as a sales rep for PNS, I was basically the sheriff of Southern California pricing.
Mm-hmm.
And now with Auto Fiber, I get to do all the things I love with product development, which is so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
And Ian is great to work for. He's really chill. And the opportunity to go after opportunities.
Oh, that's great.
Oh,
yeah. To be a sales rep like nationally and internationally it was a great opportunity for me.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't just a SoCal rep. I talked to people all over the country and other parts of the world.
Yeah.
And just try and help Auto Fiber grow, which I enjoyed. That's what I enjoyed doing at PNS was, the products and communicating with people and putting the products that I loved in people's stores to solve problems for people like me that just want to clean cars, get good results, buy affordable products. And one cool thing about working for a microfiber company is it's very neutral. I make applicators for many different brands.
Yeah.
I make towels or have towels made for different companies. And so it's a lot of fun because it's not just like I get to talk about all the products I love now, not just PNS and a couple of others. I get to talk about all the great brands that are out there like Coach Kimmy and PNS and some of the other ones I haven't tried yet, but there's so much that is out there. So things, when I get myself in trouble because I tell the truth a lot. And so if I told the whole story, I'd probably get in trouble. I'll say that. People will take the truth and then they'll twist little things and people will get upset that I told the truth about them. But
people don't like the truth, Kyle. I'm learning that
people don't like the truth
day by
man.
day. They do not like the truth
in all aspects of family and career and life and politics and religion, all those things. People don't want to hear the truth. We want to live in our little worlds. But one thing I can say that I do miss working with Sydney and all the fun we had, developing the off-road line was great, and Absolute and other brands. That's a bummer that came to an end, but it's been great.
Parents here.
Delaney.
What's up, Delaney?
Look, I'm on a podcast with your mom again.
Look, Kyle, she can't hear you because I have headphones in. He said, "Look, I'm on a podcast with your mom."
Good old days.
Cool.
The Detail Grind podcast brought it back together, people.
Bring everybody together.
Sydney and I we'll talk about this off the air. I'll tell you about my idea for a different podcast.
Yeah.
But
we
yeah, and
need
you know
a
what? When
Sydney
you
and
guys
Kyle
talk
like
about
after hours podcast.
yeah, right. No, that's when I'm gonna get myself in trouble. No, when you guys talk about TR SEMA and all the things you're gonna do, and that's where I met Alex.
Yeah.
It's bummer because like it was so much fun doing that with Sid and Keith and the rest of the team. Just it was a lot of fun. So and the Rad Company are great. I know Dane was on earlier. Still, love all those people, Jeff and Carolyn, but that was a chapter that had to end, and the new chapter is better for Kyle. So
that's
Boise after hours. That sounds dangerous.
Love that.
What happens in Boise stays in Boise.
Yeah.
The Treasure Valley.
I think when you work with a team, or like you said, like Jeff and Carolyn, like when you can go somewhere and better yourself and they're happy for you, that it was a good relationship. But when like I've had managers who are like, well, why do you want to do that? And it's like, well, why do you care what I want? Like, don't worry about your interests. This is about, you're supposed to help me. So I think that is a good quality to have.
Well, and fun fact, one of Kyle's first phone calls was to Jeff and Carolyn Hennon to tell them that he was going to Auto Fiber. So, that was, he let them know that, like, hey, and that just goes back to how important
they're just great people, and I have a lot of respect for them. So I wanted them to be very clear and hear it from me that this had nothing to do with trying to hurt the Rad Company, because we know there's people out there that'll spin your whatever you say. And I wanted them to fully understand that the opportunity was going to be good for me. And so it's been
look at this
more profitable and happy.
Ooh.
What?
I love this question.
What a juicy question.
Absolutely no.
Juicy wasn't even the one to ask it.
I'm sure that there's some collaborations either that have happened or maybe happening in the future. But no,
that's great, right? There's total and there's always total transparency there when there's a collab, of course. And the two brands get along great. There's no issues there, and I look forward to more collabs in the future. But definitely no.
Yeah, there's.
So
I know when they came out with their first coating application, or I don't know if the Pearl Puck was the first one. But I remember they just said, like, they were very open and honest about it, and that's what helps limit the speculation out there, regardless of if it's within the brand or
rumors,
just rumors or just keyboard warriors, what have you. It's direct from the source is what you want to hear.
And like, if you work together on it and you're proud of what you guys created together, like, why not share that? Like, why hide that?
No, I don't. Yeah, I don't think nobody would want to hide those things. And I see the mission for Auto Fiber. I don't know what the mission statement would be for the Rad Company. They just make good products, and they have a great sales team, and their media is definitely on point, as we can see with you guys going to help them. We don't have a media team like that. They're Great Dane. They're just killer. We are trying to focus on like taking the feedback from detailers and making unique products like the mid on a stick and the Scrub Ninja and a few other things. That's our focus. Not that
you have to let the product speak for itself. Make a good product, and it can stand on its own. You don't need to do all this defending it or making change. Like, make it right, make it speak for itself, and your job becomes easy.
Yeah, they have great stuff. I love the FTWs. They're a great towel. They come in great colors. There's so many towels I've used from TRC over the years, and I still have a bunch of TRC towels in my cabinets. I have more auto
my
fiber.
auto fiber and my TRC, they commingle.
Yeah.
They don't argue.
They're
you know what?
getting along.
That's like the best thing though, right? Is that we just have two really great microfiber companies in the industry, which is awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, that was kind of what happened, but we try to hang out with each other as much as we can at trade shows, and we have an event coming up in April that Sid's going to be at, that I'll be able to see her and Keith. So I'm super stoked about that. And I pretty much talk to her almost every day. So, it's all good. We're happy with how everything turned out. We really wanted to do this with you guys, and when we talked, just to get back to helping people again. The whole point was to help and to get people to stop focusing on like making TikToks for other detailers and making TikToks for your customers, and getting the business legitimized and deciding if you're a creator or if you're an influencer or if you're a business owner or all. And that's funny. She did mention that she's done stuff with Buff and Shine, and now I am doing things with Lake Country. So it's just funny how that kind of worked out, it's always like I guess the path you go down or the decisions other people make. And sometimes you have to make decisions that take you in a different direction. Not that anybody's bad. There are bad people in this industry, but not every, for sure. Most people are pretty great.
I agree. So I think to summarize, what happened to Sydney and Kyle, we just grew. And we're still
and
Sydney
you guys
and Kyle.
turned out okay.
We'll always be Sydney and Kyle. Regardless of all of that. So I mean, that's like the great part about the story is, beyond all of the hard times and situations that maybe weren't the greatest, we stayed the course for ourselves, and we stayed authentic and truthful to ourselves and to each other as friends, and that's been the great thing. And I know that path will take us both far, and it has. It's been great for both of us, and we've learned together. We've learned a lot together.
I've learned a lot.
It's always fun to learn with another person.
And it's don't always keep learning, I think, is really important too. It's kind of that old adage of, if you're the smartest person in the room, then you're in the wrong room. And just keep improving yourself.
I've been doing this since I was 13. The first job I actually ever had is auto fiber, technically on paper.
That's pretty cool.
So being in my late 30s, my first W-2 was with auto fiber.
That's awesome.
There's a lot of things that I didn't understand. Like, we're trying to help people. I didn't understand about business and life, and I didn't understand about people. And I didn't understand how good and how bad people can be. And I've learned some lessons, and I'm continually learning lessons about, life and how to navigate people and their personalities and business. And I can say that it's just part of the journey, man. And I will say, with the things that have happened, and I know that Sydney would say this too, because both of our paths have always brought us back to, I am now a better father and better husband now than I was 2 years ago.
Right.
I was giving everything to brands and organizations that were not worth it.
Sure.
And when it was time to move on from brands and another organization, I found out that my family's more important.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, and so
Some
it's just
people find that out
part
too
of the
late.
path. Dude,
Yeah.
I wish I would have
Yeah.
found it out
Yeah.
younger, but I'm glad I found it out, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, my kids are still young enough that I wasn't, you know, regretting
Yep.
not being there for them. You know, that
Sure.
I built a business. I started doing things for fun. I got wrapped up in all the fun. I got wrapped up in projects. I got wrapped up in product development.
Mhm.
Yep.
And I was doing, I mean, this is fun right now. And this is the first thing I've done and not be with my family in a long time. So this is kind of fun for me. But like, just all the things were taking away from the things that were
Yeah.
more important, you know?
Yeah.
So I know it's a little vague, but without getting into drama, that's as much as I can say.
Yeah.
Well,
Very
thank you
fair.
for sharing it. And I think that is a very
Yes.
good cap to put on the what happened to Sydney
Yeah.
And
Kyle.
we're glad that you guys came together and started this whole thing too.
Yes. I
I'm
am
proud of you
jazzed.
guys.
I am
We got it.
Thank
jazzed.
you so much.
Yeah, there's forks in the road, right? You have to figure out which path you're going to
Yeah.
take. Yeah, things
You
happen.
have to do what's best for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Like me, I'm very empathetic, right? I always care about what other people do, or what
Mhm.
people think, or you know, I want to help people, but there's many times where I put myself in the back seat, and I need to realize that no, I need to put Joey first. So
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah,
Being an empath is a good thing.
Yep.
And trying to help
when
people
it's
is a
bad,
good
it's
thing.
yeah.
But man, you can get screwed when you are trying. When you care more about something than the people you're trying to help care
Yep.
about it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep. I think it's like a tale of, you know, having something broken and what you do with the pieces. And sometimes it's pretty
Yeah.
great. You know,
Yeah.
sometimes it's pretty
Absolutely.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I know even just a few years ago, and even more so now, or somewhat now still. I mean, the hustle culture is really attractive for a lot of people, and you know, I remember like a few years ago at a job, like you know, I was just like really trying to make it, and you know, I was like hustling, taking on everything, and then everything was kind of ripped out from under me, you know, with like the company itself restructuring. Like, okay, like that really put me into perspective of all that hard work. You know, not that it didn't matter, but like it was amazing how easily it could just all be taken away. And I'm like, okay, and now I'm in such a better position with, you know, and there were certain decisions that I had to make, you know, that helped, you know, myself and family, you know, to really bring me to, you know, it was a terrifying leap, but you know, we did it, and I'm where I am now, and I couldn't be happier. So
For 14 years, I worked 10-hour days, 6 days a week for 14 years.
Wow.
And I was like, I was in my early mid 20s when it started, and it was like, yeah, the money's great. This is awesome. Like, let's stack paper. And then when that went to 40 hours a week, my initial thing was like, oh no, there's going to be like we're going to have to change the budget a little bit. But what I've gained from that and having that 20 hours a week back to, or however long back to myself, I wouldn't go back to the 10-6 ever again. Ever.
Yeah, I'm not going back.
No.
Not to all the stuff that I was doing before, or if I did, like I've had other opportunities come my way to like rep for a few other brands, but it would take me away from my family. And I'm like, you know what? My youngest daughter's 9. Call me in 9 years, and when she's 18, I'll travel for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Until then, I'm happy doing what I'm doing, and I like my schedule, and I'm happier. And honestly, and we talked about this earlier about like kind of earning your stripes for stuff. I am done trying to justify my worth to people at this point.
It's exhausting.
I will earn it, but not anymore, because I've done enough that I can say that. And, you guys too. So,
but yeah, I do want to say, since we're talking family and bringing things together, I think we should come together and do a tier list. I know this episode's long, but I think it's good to have it if you guys have a few moments to spare for possibly the best tier list in Detail Grind podcast history. So,
let's go!
I don't know.
So excited! I tell you guys every week, I don't get to see these ahead of time.
This is the only twofer. It's the only twofer that we get because we've never had additional inputs. It's always just been the one. So here we are.
It's been a solo thing.
Here we have to the top. We have hardly bad, obvious room for improvement, really bad, and so flippin' silly. So, and these are very adjacent to habits that both of you have exhibited, in your professional lives. So
these are very Canadian tiers.
Yes. The first one is actually a tunnel wash. So washing your car before you get it, which pertains a little bit more towards Sydney.
I was going to say that seems targeted.
where are we putting the tunnel wash? Not washing a clean car, but a cleaner car than it was.
Let's see. So the tunnel wash, like how I feel about it, I'm rating it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're necessary evils. So where do you put it?
But to you make your customers go to the car wash first. So where does that
go to the car wash? But I also think they're super bad. So
we can certainly take the averages and sit it somewhere.
I'm
going to choose room for improvement because I'm also going to claim that that's obvious.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's fair.
Dean.
The detailer and me
say yesterday.
It's really bad, but the entrepreneur in me wants to say do it because that's what we call that's continued work.
Yeah, exactly. That's guaranteed income.
That's right.
Exactly.
So the next one on the list is really dirty cars. And I'm talking real dirty.
Yeah, I'm down so flippin' silly.
I like when they're really dirty on the outside. I don't necessarily like when they're really dirty on the inside.
Yeah, same. They can be hammered on the outside.
I have fun with that.
I work from home. I hate when they're dirty on the outside.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's kind of why I threw that in. That was some more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate that. Yeah, it's hard for me to do at home with really.
If it's interior, I'm going to say really bad. I don't want it.
Yeah, you said those to Carlos Serrano.
I love a challenge, and man, I can make them look good, but they better be just handing me their credit card and saying, "Go
Kyle,
for
we're
it."
also bigger guys, right? Like we don't want to climb in the car.
There's a reason I don't window tint.
Yeah,
I don't fit in most cars.
No, dude, we don't want to. I take such good care of the front of the Mini Cooper, the back of the Mini Cooper. I don't know what's going on because I can't get back there.
If you guys did tint, it would have to be tint explicitly on windows that only open. Oh, there we go.
Absolutely.
Look at that.
Oh, look at her. She's so cute.
The next one, I just Googled aircraft detailing, and this is the first one that came up. This handsome fellow standing on the wing of an airplane.
That's funny.
Aircraft detailing. How we feel.
I love cleaning planes, man. They're fun.
Because I know, Sydney, you did the is it just the Detail Mafia thing with the whole I mean that specific aircraft itself. But I know you're kind of on board with that.
I love that plane, man. That plane, I've put a lot of time and effort onto that thing over many years.
That's a cool thing to say too.
Many years. I only did it one. And Kyle loves cleaning a big airplane. They're not for me. So I'll just let him do it. Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay.
Right there is fine.
Sydney and I have it hard in common every day.
Yeah. I need to know where there has to be a means to the end, and there just seems like there's no end.
Yeah. I can imagine.
But Kyle,
everywhere you look, there's surface.
For some reason, I don't ever want to do paint corrections on cars that last if I was doing some crazy concourse, 3 days is my max. But I could clean on a plane for weeks and still love it every day. I don't know why.
That's cool.
Maybe it's because
Kyle also knows how to price airplanes, and he gets the paycheck for it. So there's probably some
that's half the battle.
Pain management in the paycheck.
Off.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So the next one is RV detailing, which I know, Kyle, this is your bread and butter. I know.
Absolutely.
I know Sydney's done a. I think Sydney's still having nightmares about that red Sprinter.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
which is a large vehicle.
I've
so.
never done an RV.
No,
Oh.
I had a friend ask for they had like a 35-foot trail, like a bumper pull trailer to be done. And I was honestly like, I might just foam it down, rinse it, and then like put some kind of, foaming sealant on it and call it a day, or go God mode with Bead Maker and the foam cannon.
That's the bead cannon, baby.
Yep.
Bead cannon.
Yeah, the bead cannon is great.
Aren't you the pioneer of that, Kyle?
Yeah, I was
bead
filling
cannon.
foam
Yep.
cannons and bead. It still works great till this day. I love it.
Yep.
Use a lot of Bead Maker though, so I've been testing out that new.
You're gonna want to get sponsored if you do the bead cannon.
Yeah.
Yeah. You need 5 gallons of that if you're gonna do that regularly.
Gosh.
But
So
what's it?
SO03?
Yeah, SO03.
Yeah.
That on RVs.
Yep.
Is that the cheat
Money.
code right there?
Yeah.
All right, maybe I'll
Both
take an
work
RV now.
great. Both work great. Bead
I
Maker
just tell
and
people
that.
if you don't fit in my driveway,
Yeah.
I can't do it.
I have
Sorry.
a 21-foot limit. 21-foot limit.
there you go.
Okay,
Know your
there you
limit.
go.
Yep.
So the general consensus with RV / very
Hardly
large
bad.
vehicle detailing, where are we sitting at?
You can put it in the middle. You could put it hardly bad. You could wherever.
Okay, I'll leave it where it is. So the next one that I think all 4 of us, well, 3 for sure, is the color teal.
Yes.
Oh,
Everything.
To the
I'm all for the
top,
teal.
all the way.
I
all the
just
way.
like the bucket.
Yeah.
Like when you guys have your teal buckets and the teal pressure washer and like all the teal
Yeah.
stuff, because I've
Yeah.
said it once, I'll say it
I
again.
have a
love
teal
the
foam cannon now.
look at the
I'm
freaking
I'm
Yeti
still-
look
cup.
at
I'm
the
still
Stanley
waiting.
Cup.
I got
Yeti,
my
if you're
Yeti.
watching, please hook up Kyle more.
Yeah.
I know
And I know
Yeti's
we have a
probably
lot
watching.
of towel companies in the audience and on the cast. I'm still waiting for a teal interior towel. If
I'm working
anybody
on
wants
it.
to make one.
Ooh.
Anybody
Teal
wants to
interior
make
would be
one.
nice.
Still waiting
First
for a
one
teal
to market.
interior.
Come on, Dane. Who's gonna do
You
it?
know what? No one has ever complimented me or even brought up the fact, like when they're in my garage, that there's a lot of teal. Like I almost feel like I don't have enough. If they
Yeah.
Really?
it's-
I get complimented all the time.
no one's like, oh, all your brushes match, or oh, all these match. No one says a damn thing.
I think if Joey, like Sydney, had a bit of a teal Swiss Tracks vibe going,
Yeah.
Yes, I think
That
the
may
flooring does
The
make a difference.
people see the floor like immediately, like it just transforms
Yeah.
everything.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah,
Joe, you might
I
have
love
to
that
paint
color.
the palm trees teal, but I know
Oh,
that's a little excessive.
that's a good idea.
So myself being vertically challenged, and then you guys not being so much vertically challenged, the mid on a stick. Where are we?
Ooh.
Where are we
To the
slapping that?
top.
all
Because
the way at the top.
I've joked that Joey uses it for the lowers, and I would use it for the top.
No, but
That's true.
I do use so what I love about it is like I can necessarily I can reach the top of the vehicle, right?
Yep.
But I either have to like open the door or stand on the running board, and it's just like extra exertion on my part, right? That's when I grab the mid on a stick and I go, I don't need to use this, but boy, do I love using it in place of like doing all this extra just to reach up top and being able to swap the, I need to clay the roof. I don't have to I don't have to stand on something to clay the roof. Great.
I envy those because there is a Auto Fiber Canada, and every time I'm on there, they're out of stock. So I just live vicariously through everybody.
So
the mid on a stick is like the
You will-
PlayStation 5 of the detail.
when you get to TR SEMA, don't
Yep.
let the rag company know, but I'll have one there at Sydney's house for you. Okay.
Oh my god!
If you can take it home with you.
Yeah, that'll.
Are you
It
bringing extra
shrinks down.
suitcases? Alex?
Oh, I am bringing the maximum
The box
allotted
is
limit.
only
Okay.
like this. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I have been wanting to do that for a long time, but sending
Yes.
anything to Canada.
Hey, I love to go
to the
there and
Canada,
get my
as Theo
goods.
says.
It's. I can't wait for the conversation with Canadian immigration to be like, why do you have multiple sections of poles and a wash pad? So
Don't worry about what I'm doing.
I might get Canada
Where you
Border
say, you worry
Services
about
agencies
yourself.
to. I'll get
Exactly.
them to
Hey,
use my
they can
discount
look-
code.
They can look through it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they can use my discount code for all their fleet vehicles. So who knows?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the next topic that we have
Don't
is,
let Dane
you know,
know.
I know back, when I first met Kyle in person, which was a great day, was the off-road lineup launch. So off-roading in general, Kyle, I know you and your family do a lot of the off-roading stuff. And how do you guys feel about the whole off-road situation?
Oh man,
Not just the line, but just off-roading and having fun in the desert, and the mountains, and whatever.
Not
Man,
necessarily
you're asking me
cleaning
on a
them.
bad week. You're asking me on a bad week.
Oh no.
You're asking me on a bad week.
She got a
It was
taste of the
freezing.
off-road last.
It was freezing. But the products, the activity was very cold.
So 51
right.
weeks out of the year, it's okay.
Yeah, I mean,
hit
we do
Vegas
our
on the wrong
off-roading in the winter though, because
Yeah.
where we go in the sand, you don't want to be out there in the summer in Death Valley. So
No.
that's when we go to Idaho. We go to Idaho for the sand dunes in the summer because it's cooler up there. I love it, but you know, Sid didn't like the cold so much. You got to get a heater in it. You know, they do make off-road vehicles with cabs.
Yeah.
You know,
I would need that.
You would be more of the Jeep or Bronco
Sydney and I are
type
the same
off-roader.
Yeah. I just like
go, let's go camping. I go, no, I don't want to.
She's like, I have a Jeep, but my Jeep is a race car.
Wait, what do they call it? The mall crawler? Is that what they call it? Like
oh my gosh.
Mine's a pavement princess. Mine's a
pavement princess. I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say Sydney's Jeep is kind of the bastard child that belongs just to go fast, you know.
It's got one job. Jeep, but it's not Jeeping, you know.
Yeah.
It's got one job, and that's to beat everybody else on the street.
So kind of a play on what we were talking about earlier, the wonderful HOA. Where are we sitting this one?
That's so flippin' silly.
So silly.
Let's put that down there.
Yeah.
Maybe it doesn't even deserve to be on the list, in my opinion.
Right. Yeah.
Where are you Hidden Springs HOA?
Right.
That's that pretty quickly, little
yes. I guess we never really decided on off-roading, but I think the general consensus was kind of right here because you got to have the proper environment and temperature. You know, it can't be too hot, can't be too cold.
You got to be comfy.
But even like
hardly bad.
Okay.
For off-roading.
Put up a little bit.
You know, kind of to Kyle's sentiment was it's funny that, you know, when you reference going to Boise for it being cooler in the summer, and I hear about Boise's temperatures, that makes me terrified.
No, we don't go to Boise for the sand dunes. We go to Rexburg on the other side of the state.
Okay,
but
good.
It can be July and the temperatures are very nice in the 80s.
Nice.
I need to find
Death Valley in July
to go
is
this
in
summer.
120s.
The 114 degrees in Sacramento over the summer. I need to find somewhere to go during that time. I'm tired of it.
You'd be melting.
And the last one on our beautiful list is the Active 2.0 that many of you have, you know, some positive feedback for, negative feedback, poor experiences, near-death experiences.
Mine caught on fire, and then Kyle hasn't opened his because mine caught on fire.
Yeah, actually, that's true. I got
almost...
one to put in my garage, and I haven't opened it at all.
Kyle, I've had mine for 2 years, and I haven't had a single problem with it. But it is loud. Like I like go back and watch reels that I've created that involve like foam or whatever, and I'm like, that's like, oh, mine's loud.
Mine's not loud, but I will say it's not loud compared to the Karcher Cube, but I'm on round 2, and I haven't had any problems with round 2. Round 1 caught on fire.
Yeah.
Company replaced it right away upon receiving the video. Right away.
I need one for my garage, like your setups, but there's no way I could do RVs or airplanes. With an Active 2.0.
I moved out to really bad.
I will say though, like I was really impressed from going from a smaller flow unit to actually having 2 gallons. Like
is no longer
seeing the soap like rinse off of the paint is it's especially like when you're cleaning a wheel, you're like, oh, like I rinsed that wheel off really quickly. So I like that.
I love it. I think Kyle's gonna have to treat his Active 2.0 like how people treat like deep frying a turkey, is go in a big open area, make sure you're not around anything flammable.
Yeah,
using it in open fields.
Yes.
Yeah, I have a mount for it and everything. I just haven't done it.
Nice.
I just got to do it, and I was really only doing it just because then I don't have to fire up my gas pressure washer and wash my wife's car or my truck.
Yeah.
I got to
Not
take a
like
little
I'm
road
probably
trip
gonna
down
do
to
business
Kyle
with it.
and help him mount that on the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta plan it out. I need to get a reel for it. I need to get myself a reel.
That's our wonderful
That was
multi-input
fun, guys.
tier list. So
awesome.
That
I
was
love
fun.
it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys
Love
so
it.
much. I know this was a
Yeah.
much longer episode than we anticipated, but I
Totally
think there
cool.
were a lot of good topics covered. I think there were a lot
Yeah.
of good
yes.
questions asked, and just I don't think any feelings were hurt.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, that's
every-
good.
100%.
Yeah.
That's the win for the day.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I think so. This could have gone many ways, but I don't think any feelings were
We
hurt.
better shut this off.
Sydney set the tone, and I was like, "Fine,
Yeah.
I won't go there."
This is for that Boise After Hours podcast.
Yes.
Anything that wasn't said.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Also
I know.
known as
Detailing
Dane's
after
Twitch
dark.
stream.
I know. I always
The feet
joke that
cam-
like I need
the feet cam
like
Dane's
the
got.
alternate personality.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well,
Beautiful.
I think
Yeah,
I think
no,
it was great.
Yeah.
We're gonna do a
appreciate both of you.
podcast where we all wear luchador masks, and
Hey,
we
yeah.
start, and then we're just gonna say whatever we think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kyle's
That way we
speaking my
can't get in
language
trouble.
with
I like that.
wrestling.
I like that.
Nacho Libre.
But we have to have voice changers too, 'cause-
Yeah, that's right. You're
We
right.
could just be
For sure.
we could just have like a shadow, like no light on us. It'll just be like
Yeah,
a
I like
silhouette.
that too.
And yes, Adrian, say hi next time.
Yes.
Say hi next time. I'm not intimidating at all.
No.
Everyone
Literally
says
the
that.
nicest
I'm like,
person.
what? Like this is what
No.
you get.
Sydney's
Yes,
the greatest.
Say hi.
Yeah.
Say hi.
But to answer
Um,
Neil's question, Joey drives a GTI and I
I
drive
have a
GLI.
2021 GTI SE.
Yeah. The Volkswagen Grand Touring Injection, which I believe is what it stands for. And mine is luxurious.
It means hexagons everywhere to clean and dress. That's what the GTI means.
And the
It's
rubber
everywhere
mats
is a
internally from
hexagon,
the factory can burn.
Oh,
I hate
I
monster
hate
mats
it.
with a passion.
I
but
hate it.
yeah, I think that's a wrap.
If people
It's,
want to reach out to you guys, where for free stuff,
Yes.
for you to delete their messages, where can they get you?
where's the spam folder?
Yes.
Oh, God.
Where's the requests folder?
So you can become friends of us first, and then you can start spamming us. So
Yeah.
yeah. So I
The best way.
obviously, PNS Detail Products, Buff and Shine, SBG the Detailer. You're probably not going to get anything out of me at the rag company. Sorry to say.
Right.
No.
That's under somebody else's wheelhouse.
Use those Grandambassador. Use those
Yeah.
Grandambassador.
Yeah, man, they
promo
have the
codes.
program for it. You know,
that's
TRC
what
built
I
that
do.
program
Yeah,
for a
like
reason.
shout out to the programs, right? You are both affiliates for PNS, right? So that's
Yeah.
a place to start, you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
So look for the programs. But yeah, no, you can get me on PNS, SBG the Detailer, Gwinny the Pooh, whatever you want. You can find me. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Awesome.
It would be at Extreme Detailing Kyle. Extreme is spelled with an X because I thought I was cool when I was 13.
The only way to spell extreme.
Exactly. So Extreme Detailing Kyle or at Auto Fiber. That's where I'm on all the DMs. And just become a fan first, start showing value. And when you get to that point, then we'll start, doing little by little, a little
Very
fun
cool.
here and there, and try to support people, because it's about the relationships.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
100%.
Awesome.
Beautiful. Yeah,
And
Sydney
thank you
was
to the
experiencing some
40 people
technical
who were
difficulties,
watching.
but- Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. And I'm expecting this one to be some high views. So I
Yes,
just appreciate
absolutely.
everyone so much for taking the time on a busy Friday night. And I think this is kind of one of those weekends where it's St. Patrick's Day is encompassing an entire weekend, even though it's Monday.
Yeah.
So if you are out and about, do have fun and get some green related photos on the weekend for detailing. Do a green theme, everyone. And tag
Go eat
us,
a pie.
Detail Grind Podcast.
It's pie day. Go eat your pies.
Oh, there we go. It is pie
Forgot
day.
all
Yes.
about that. I haven't eaten today. I'm gonna go stuff my face, and I'm gonna get
I
some
need
pie.
some pecan pie, man.
Sorry, my
All right.
computer died.
Oh no.
We were on way too long. We've never had a guest computer die.
No.
Just
Sorry about that.
Oh
There we
man. Well, thank you
Yeah.
guys again. We will. We have a really exciting guest next week, so stay tuned to the socials to see who that is. And yeah, I get to see you guys in 2 weeks, so that's like super exciting.
I'm so excited.
Have fun, guys. I'll be watching.
We
Awesome.
we will try to keep you included. That way you don't feel too much
Okay.
FOMO.
Yes.
No FOMO.
Thank you
All right.
guys again. We will we'll see you guys next week.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.